Hey, welcome to another tutorial from photoshopisfun.com. Now, hopefully most of you guys have had a chance to get out to the website, photoshopisfun.com, to check out all the other things that are Photoshop related that I can't really deliver through the YouTube channel. And then in addition to the Photoshop stuff, I also have some killer tips and tricks and gear reviews around photography. It's really that other missing piece to our puzzle, our sweet, creative, love-making puzzle that we do. So if you want to get stuff that you can't get here, and then in addition, all of the photography stuff, then check out photoshopisfun.com. Okay, with that said, let's jump into today's lesson. Alright, so today is an essentials course. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus in on the crop tool. And if you have Photoshop CS6, then you have the latest iteration of the crop tool, at least as of the date of this recording. Now, if you're familiar with the previous versions of the crop tool, CS5 and below, then you know how to use it. It's pretty bare bones. It's pretty basic. It does what you would think it does. However, Adobe really focused in on the crop tool for CS6, and they made a ton of improvements because they wanted it to be one of your go-to tools for improving your workflow and actually, improving the final output of your photograph. And they've really delivered on it. So let's jump straight into how the crop tool works. Okay, so the crop tool is located over in your toolbox under the quick selection brush. It's right here. It looks like it did in previous versions in terms of the icon. And immediately you can see the static ants that are the dotted lines basically around the photograph. And then you have these handles in the corners as well as on the sides, or in the middle, I should say, on the sides, top and bottom. And that's basically what you grab with your mouse, your left mouse click, to initiate your crop. And then in addition, when you select the crop tool, you get this set of specific properties up here in the horizontal axis. And this is the same with all the other tools in Photoshop. That's basically how the UI works. You select a tool, you get properties and menu items that are specific to that tool up here on the horizon. So keep that in mind if you're new to Photoshop. Okay, so before we get into these different settings up here, let's go ahead and just show you how the crop tool works. You basically grab a handle and you can move it around. And what's really nice about the new version of the crop tool is when you move the picture, you're actually moving the picture underneath the crop tool as opposed to the old way of doing it, which was moving the crop tool over the picture. And if you're not used to it at first, it might seem a little weird, but trust me, once you play around with it for a little bit, you'll love it. It's a nice way to do cropping. Now, to rotate your picture, you basically come outside of the handles and you can see the double-sided arrow, and you just left click and rotate at will. You can do big circles if you want to do disco stuff and make yourself dizzy, whatever you want. Okay, so I'm going to undo that, and now I want to show you the options up here at the top. So if you'll orient your eyes up here at the horizontal axis, you'll see that it immediately, for those of you who do a lot of print work, they have some presets in here, which is really nice. So right now I'm on unconstrained, meaning I can go ahead and grab a handle and move it at will in any direction. There's no aspect ratio maintained, things like that, which is really nice for doing, very specific types of crops. But also, again, if you're a printer and you know you're going to print with a photograph, they have these presets in here which are really nice, 4x3, 5x7, all the common ones. And then if you want to do your own presets, you print a specific size for your framing, then you can go ahead and come down here to size and resolution and set it up in here, click OK, and it'll ask you to name it. And then what you'll have is a custom preset. Like for example, here I use I print a lot of 8x16s, what I call my tall boy. And so I have that here. It's readily available. I just click on it and then it immediately switches, which is really nice. So I'm going to do 8.5 by 11. Just to show you how that works. And again, as I come down to the corners to resize, it always maintains that 8.5 by 11 aspect ratio, whether I'm vertical or I'm horizontal, which is really nice. Okay, so that's how that works. I'm going to go back to unconstrained for a minute so that I can show you the entire thing here. Let me come back, open this up, and all the way down to the bottom. And then what I want to do now is show you how to straighten a photograph. So this is one of the nice things in the crop tool. So if I want to go ahead and straighten this, I can do it a few different ways. So I can go ahead and rotate it this way, and manually do it, and I can use the grid to look for straight horizontal lines, which is pretty nice. Or another way to do it is to go ahead and click on the straighten icon here. And then what you want to do is find a line, a horizon line basically, and you click once where it starts, and you drag it to where it ends, and then the crop tool will automatically do its orientation for you. So you can see right there, it did all the work for me, which is a really nice way of doing it, and knowing that you're going to get a relatively level picture. Now, the next thing is for the specific view you want. So right now it's set to rule of thirds. There's also the golden ratio, the golden spiral, which if you're a photographer, you're probably familiar with these things. If you're not, basically what it is it's a photography term for mathematical equations that have been shown to be used and for ideal photographs in terms of composition. So if you want to position, so right now, for example, I'm on rule of thirds, right? Meaning that there is 9 squares in my grid here, 3 by 3, and what you want to do in this type of scenario is you want the main focal point of your photograph to intersect with one of those sets of squares. So in this case right now I have this eye intersecting there. Alternatively, I could move over to this eye, or I could go down this way. Of course, if I do that, I don't have I didn't maintain my aspect ratio, so I would have a black line here, which I wouldn't want, so I wouldn't do that type of composition. But anyway, that's how that works. The golden spiral, which is a classic and is a very good rule of thumb, generally speaking. You want to get your focal point right on the eye of that curve. So that's how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and back out here to get where I had left off with my crop. And I wanted to show you the next piece. So the other thing that's really important and really awesome with the new crop tool is this delete cropped pixels option, or the inverse of that, which is not to delete them. So in the old way of doing things, if you cropped a photograph, it was destructive. Photoshop got rid of all of the image data around your crop, and it just maintained everything within the crop. However, if you uncheck this, it might be unchecked by default, I can't remember. What Photoshop will do is it'll maintain all of that data. So for example, if I go ahead and do some type of cropping like this, for example, let's just say I do this, and I don't like this, so I come back later and say, you know what, that wasn't the right crop, or I need a new size for a different type of print, I can go ahead and do so. So if you click on a handle, and you will immediately see the old image data that lies outside of the boundaries of your crop. And you can go ahead and just get it back if you need it. And that's a really nice addition to this tool. It's fantastic, actually. So that's basically how the crop tool works. There's also, if you absolutely hate the new way of doing it, you can go back to classic mode here in the settings for this tool. But I highly recommend you don't do that. You at least play around with the new version of it for a while, because it really is powerful. It adds a lot to your workflow. It's fantastic. So check it out. And then also, again, check out photoshopisfun.com, and I will see you at the next tutorial. Okay, I won't see you. I'll talk to you, but I won't really talk to you. I'll just talk at you.